Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.
Welcome back to Hour 2 of Gun Sports Radio, where your hosts Dave Stahl, Lance Pelkey, and Michael Schwartz educate you on anything and everything related to our Second Amendment right. Visit gunsportsradio.com with your questions and comments, or to learn how to become a sponsor and or guest of the show. Now here comes Hour 2 of Gun Sports Radio, and your hosts Dave, Lance, and Michael.
Folks, welcome back. This is FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
And this second hour sponsor is the great folks at Cali Key. Well, I tell you what, if you have an AR-15 or a 10, this will instantly make it California compliant, and you'll be able to keep that gun no problem. For more information, check out Cali Key at calikey.com. That's KALIKEY.com. Hey, self-defense and emergencies can happen to anyone. And unfortunately, the justice system may not be on your side while you protect your family and property. So U.S. LawShield jumps in, and they're here to defend you 24/7, 365 days a year with the comprehensive self-defense coverage of an affordable price. Bad guys don't take days off, and neither does our coverage. What's your plan after you defend yourself or your family? Consider a plan from U.S. LawShield. Check them out today at uslawshield.com. That's uslawshield.com. All right, hey, this segment is from San Diego County gun owners. If you don't belong to SDCGO.org, you need to join today. $10 a month. Goodness gracious, great. You know what? You need to join these up. You'll learn everything about what's going on in the gun world, the good, the bad, the ugly. SDCGO.org. SDCGO.org will keep you up to date. And one of the stars of San Diego County gun owners is Joe Drammissi, the blogger. What are you blogging today, son?
It was finally here after my stint in traffic, and I heard the crack about on the side of the road practicing plates.
Well, you probably think, well, there's traffic. Hey, look, there's a road sign. Let me go poke some holes.
Yeah, this is radio. The stuff does go out over there.
I
did hear it.
There are people listening.
We tied. I was so happy.
Yeah, what's up with that? I mean, yeah, what's up with that, Joe?
Yeah, I started off hot and then faded.
Oh, no. And then you started off slow and then got hot?
He usually wins, so I was happy. I'm happy with a tie.
So what's new there, my friend?
So today, SASO, is that a word? Maybe a word I may be making up. It's SASO, so it's Second Amendment Sanctuary Ordinances. So that's what I'm going to talk about today. So I remember when I first got involved with San Diego County gun owners, I remember thinking, because the sanctuary thing was a big deal. It was really getting traction. All the sanctuary cities out here, the sanctuary state, and it was all focused on illegals and immigration and that kind of stuff. And I remember at the time thinking, boy, it'd be nice if somebody did like a sanctuary city or something for the Second Amendment. And apparently I wasn't the only one thinking about that.
Really?
Yeah, I got an email the other day, and it was from the Gun Owners of America, and they were talking about that subject. So I started researching it a little bit and decided, wow, that's something to let people know about. And as it turns out, these things are growing all across the country. There's, I think there's about 223 cities or counties in the country that have these kind of ordinances. There's actually 4 states where the governors have done it at the state level. What is it? Alaska, Idaho, Wyoming, and Kansas have done something like this at the state level. And they're mostly the states and counties are out west. If you look at the numbers, though, it's interesting. There's you see a smattering of them back in the bad states, like in Maryland. There's a couple. There's a couple in New York counties. But for the most part, it's out here. But it's a growing thing. And it's interesting if you read some of the laws, like if you go and if you go to the article this week that I wrote, the blog article, there's links to the different laws in different places. But like if you look at some of them, I think it was in Idaho where the way they word, isn't it great in here with these sound effects? You guys do like old time radio shows in here or something? That's what it sounds like.
Studio's haunted.
It's like the old Dark Shadows show or something. But if you read the wording to some of these things, like in Idaho, I think it was, where the way they're worded, they're saying that they've passed a law in their state where law enforcement in the state can't be compelled by different federal entities to enforce laws that they feel are unconstitutional. And a lot of these are coming about nowadays more, because some of these are pretty old. I'm not old, but I think one of them was from 2010 is when they passed that law. So a lot of I think the more recent ones at the county level, I think are the result of these red flag laws that are popping up all around the country. Because the red flag laws, I think, are some of the most dangerous of the anti-gun laws that we see up here. And we were just talking about that a little bit on the break. And I think a lot of that is spurring these things. If you look at some of the other states, like in Nevada, there's apparently 16 counties worth of sheriffs out there. And they've all signed a letter saying that they're not going to enforce, they're vowing not to enforce those kinds of laws. In New Mexico, it was 30 out of the 33 counties out there had sheriffs that said, we're not going to do this. And most of those are aimed at the red flag laws, because they recently in New Mexico, they passed some pretty severe red flag things. Similar to what we have out here in California. I know what Governor Newsom just signed. They've really expanded who can do things, and who can say that, I think that person has a gun and I'm afraid and something needs to be done. And I can't remember, Michael, if you're more up on that. They've expanded that now to what? Coworkers, teachers.
Yep.
Pretty much anybody.
Pretty much anybody you know.
And none of that involves due process. And, they talk about involving a judge, but I mean, we know in California, it's not hard to find a judge that's maybe a little more politically active on the bench than they should be. So the fact that, okay, we have to have a court or we have to have something like that really isn't a good thing. But I was happy to see that that a lot of states and counties are actually doing something. And, it was interesting from the Gun Owners of America perspective. They were saying, well, a lot of these, it's good that they have these ordinances. A lot of them don't necessarily have a penalty involved or any, teeth to them. And it was interesting. The Gun Owners of America took the initiative. They wrote up a boilerplate Second Amendment sanctuary ordinance that jurisdictions can take a look at and use as a template to create their own. And they encouraged, or they included, some minor fines and things like that people might think about. But I think it's good that people are stepping up and starting to kind of push back on this thing, even if the ordinances don't have, any teeth or any penalties in them. The idea that people are now coming forward and standing up, I think is a good thing.
Absolutely. Well, it's about time too, because we usually just kind of don't. Well, it's just like our one guest when he said he had a CCW and he goes, oh, should I have said that?
Yeah, exactly. And
that's ridiculous.
Well, when you're trying to, our side is trying to prevent things from happening. We're trying to prevent bad legislation from happening, and sometimes it's tough to be assertive when you're playing defense, right? And this is even if it's just a PR move, like the city of Needles up in San Bernardino, right county. Yeah, they did something similar. It was basically a PR deal. I mean, they don't, like you said, there's no teeth.
Yeah,
but at least it's a an official statement from a city.
No, I'm glad you brought that up, because they are out of 58 counties and 40 million people. California has one.
But
city of Needles.
City of Needles, yeah.
We also talked on the show, previous shows, about this thing called judicial nullification, law enforcement nullification, which means that if you're in law enforcement and you see, you perceive the law to be against the Constitution, that you don't have to enforce it. Right. Not only that, but you could actually arrest your fellow officer if you feel that it's so far out of line.
Wow.
So at what point is it judicial or law nullification, or is it sanctuary city?
Yeah, and that's the point that a lot of these sheriffs
Either way, it's good with me, by the way.
Because, a lot of these sheriffs are saying they take an oath to uphold the Constitution. They say that supersedes all the political stuff.
I agree.
I agree 100%. Man, great segment, my man. Great segment.
Great topic.
Yeah, you could use an hour. All right, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Gun Sports Radio.
Don't you come back no more, no more, no more, no more. Hit the road, Jack, and don't you come back no more.
What you say?
Hit the road, Jack. And don't you...
All SDCGO, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
All right. Hey, California assault weapon laws make it almost impossible to own an AR pattern rifle. What's the solution? Cali Key converts any mil-spec direct impingement AR platform rifle into a straight pull bolt action rifle so it can have all the features without being considered an assault weapon. It's a true drop-in solution. No milling, no aesthetic modifications, and no turning off your gas system. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford with Cali Key. That's CaliKey.com, KALIKEY.com. Looking to do a little remodel at your home? Everything from a beautiful kitchen to a room addition, or to build a complete house. TD Construction does it all. Don't overpay. Call TD Construction today at 619-448-2353. That's 619-448-2353. Or visit their website at tdtbuild.com. That's tdtbuild.com. Check it out. A+ rated for BBB. John Groff, CCW training. You want to just have a one-on-one training? You're not really into crowds? Well, John's your man. He'll do individual CCW training classes tailored to you. John has been providing individual CCW training classes for first-timers and people renewing their permits for years. John can arrange a time to fit your schedule and an affordable price, calming professional demeanor. Call John today at 619-933-4368. That's 619-933-4368. That's John Groff. You can also find him at the gun range. Hey, who we got coming up next?
Well, we're really lucky. You know, it's our buddy Frank Serrao. He's with U.S. LawShield. And again, you know, we talk about the subject about people being prepared before having a CCW or just owning a firearm or just protecting yourself with the crazies, you know, trying to break into your house. You know, how do you protect yourself? So, Frank, are you there, my brother?
I am, gentlemen. How are we doing today?
We're doing terrific.
What's up, Frank?
Yeah, thank you.
I'm doing well myself. Beautiful day in Southern California. Got a couple phone calls this morning from my friends and family back in Philadelphia. They were dealing with some wintry mix of snow and freezing rain out there. So I'm happy to be on this side of the country for sure.
That's awesome. And I hear you've been doing a lot of training classes lately.
Yes, we have. What I wanted to talk about today was our continued education programs with U.S. LawShield. Obviously, ignorance to the law is not an excuse. If you get into a situation and you're confronted with a law enforcement officer and you let that law enforcement officer know, oh, officer, unfortunately, I did not know I was breaking the law, that officer is probably going to tell you tough crap, you should have known the law. We see the work that San Diego County Gun Owners has done in San Diego County, as well as some other grassroots organizations around the country, to basically have these sheriffs be issuing these CCW permits. We want our members to be armed, but we also want them to be educated. One slip up and the other side might get a hold of that, and it was an ignorant CCW holder doing something silly out in the public. There might be pressure put on that sheriff by the other side to stop issuing, and that is exactly what we do not want. So what I want to talk about today is our continued education program. So 2 to 3 times a month here in Southern California, we put on what we call our gun law seminars. We have a repertoire of topics. The benefits to U.S. LawShield members you get into for free of these classes or at a much discounted rate, but they are open to the public as well. The repertoire of topics include, should I shoot, which is basically the simplified deadly force and force decision-making in California. Deadly force, I mean, I'm sure most of the listeners know, but deadly force is defined in all 50 states differently across each state. So we break it down on a state-by-state basis where you are and what you can and cannot do with a firearm. We have one of those coming up actually tomorrow night with our buddies over at 511. John Dillon will be doing that class. And as you all know, John's a wealth of information. So John will be teaching that Should I Shoot Justified Use of Force and Deadly Force class tomorrow night.
Which 511 will that be?
So that'll be at the 511 in San Diego. That is the one on
down in Mission Valley.
Beautiful Mission Valley.
Yeah.
Mission Valley, correct.
Camino
correct.
del Rio South, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you are correct.
And that's a great time to talk to John also. I mean, if he's a wealth of knowledge, to have him doing your training classes like that is amazing.
Absolutely.
Exactly. So it's not something, too, where, we want to get people out and we want to get them in and out, but we want to give them as much knowledge as possible. So we keep it to 2 hours. is basically our target class time. So it's not, we're not shooting a fire hose down, in through your mouth, and it's too much information to process all at once. We have John speak for about 45 minutes. We go on about a 15-minute break where, people can come up and ask John questions on the spot. John speaks for about another 45 minutes, and then we have a Q&A question at the end where you can ask all of those firearms law and self-defense law questions you have and get John to give you a legal answer on the spot. I always mention when I came out here, I learned about Cal guns. I'm a firm believer on YouTubing, Googling, Wikipediaing things. However, having John and having his attorney background, I'm going to trust what he's going to tell me 100 out of 100 times rather than somebody on the internet who could be right. However, I know John's going to cite penal codes and state and case law. I know he's going to give me the right information every time.
So you like Cal guns, but you also like facts, I guess is what you're saying.
That is correct. Yeah, Cal guns is phenomenal for maybe, researching a new firearm that you're thinking about buying. But when it comes to self-defense law and firearms law, I'm going to trust the attorney every time.
So what's an example of something, you're going to a continuing education class, maybe you're relatively new with a CCW. What's an example of something that someone would walk away with or something that they would learn?
Oh, so like I said, the justified use of force and deadly force in the state. I mean, if somebody breaks into your house, California, a lot of people don't know, California it's not a duty to retreat state. However, and let me backtrack. I'm not an attorney, so this isn't legal advice. But, California is not a duty to retreat state. But, it's not a stand your ground state either. However, they are able to defend themselves in the home if they are an imminent threat. And we go through basically, sometimes deadly force is not necessary. So John takes you through exactly, what kind of actions you can do and precautions you can make to protect yourselves in the home and your loved ones. That's one example. Another example, we talk about, obviously the assault weapons ruling out here in California, what you can and cannot do with your firearms, making sure that those are compliant. How many people turn into overnight felons when some of those laws were passed? So we talk about what you can and cannot do there. And John's just a wealth of information. He goes over a lot of information and answers everybody's questions, from top to bottom.
And
That's awesome.
What's the website to register for that?
Sure, yeah. So you can go to www.gunlawseminar, GUNLAWSEMENIAR.com, gunlawseminar.com, and they can sign up right there. What I want to do for the listeners of the show, Gun Sports Radio here in San Diego, if you want to come out, use the promo code FRIEND on our website. That'll get you in for free for your first seminar too. Wow. Just let me know. I'll most likely be the one there. If not me, one of my gentlemen that are phenomenal that work with us. We will get you in for free at the door. Just let us know you heard about it on Gun Sports Radio. We want to give our brothers and sisters a free admission for listening to the show and educating themselves every Sunday.
Excellent.
Man, that's really good. And, with a couple minutes that we have left, can you tell us a story maybe of a situation that you guys had recently or in the past of, someone who didn't know, and then you guys had to defend them? They called you?
Sure. Yeah. So, relatively recently, I can't get into too much detail, sure, but this one's actually with gun violence restraining orders and red flag laws. Okay. One of our friends up in North County signed up a couple months ago. Had an ex-roommate who knew he actually works at one of the ranges, knew he was a firearms guy, was a little disgruntled with him, called the police. Police came, confiscated all of his firearms. Now, mind you, he did work at a gun range, so I believe it was just more than one. They launched the investigation. He actually called U.S. LawShield to just seek legal advice on who he should go to. He actually called a couple other attorneys who let him know, write us a check for $7,500, and this will be your hourly rate moving forward. Yep. Things of that nature. What he didn't know was, U.S. LawShield covers those gun violence restraining orders and red flag laws. So we picked up the case. We're working with him now. Got a call from him actually a couple weeks ago, and he was thanking me up and down for, getting him to sign up. He continued to tell me it was the best $10.95 a month he's ever spent, strictly for the fact that, it's not going to cost him an arm and a leg to represent himself. Now, it is early in his situation. He does have a long legal battle ahead of him. However, he's only going to have to pay $10.95 for his representation. Wow. So that's definitely a big one. Definitely a big one.
That is absolutely huge.
Well, and it illustrates how dangerous these red flag laws are. I mean, you got to get this. You got to get this insurance.
Just because some guy was mad at him,
a disgruntled ex-roommate.
Oh my
How many people here have had a roommate?
Raise your hand.
Yeah,
and did you guys ever fight? And now they have the law on their side. This is ridiculous. I'm so happy that you guys made sure that was part of your program, Frank. The red flag stuff, because it's just going to get worse and worse and worse. And if you ask one of these, anti-gun moms. Is this what you were intending? When you're supporting this thing, were you intending to, basically help a roommate, be vindictive against another roommate? Of course not. But that's what the result is. But fortunately, you guys are there to help, and I really appreciate that.
Wow.
Correct. Yeah, we're happy to cover that. Like you said, it's a shame that it's being spreading across the country, but we're happy to be in those people's corners if, God forbid, they are a victim of that.
Yeah, well, then Casey and Gun Range San Diego talk about having a sale on Glock 19s. Mm-hmm. When you buy your Glock, you call these guys U.S.
You got
LawShield.
You have car insurance. You have car insurance.
You just have to. I don't care if you have a tire iron in your car.
Right.
You need it. So I appreciate you coming on, man. That's terrific.
Appreciate it, buddy. You're the best.
Gentlemen, thank you for having me, and have a great Thanksgiving.
All right, you too. All right,
coming to the Christmas party, Frank?
Yeah, give me some
details. That's the answer. There you go.
Yep.
See you there.
December 11th.
He's working on it right now. Your phone will be smoking in a few moments.
Fabulous.
Sounds good,
All right,
guys.
Frank. Thank you. All right, folks, we're going to take a small break. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
Folks, welcome back. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
All right. Hey, folks, do you need a CCW class for your San Diego CCW? Would you like an Arizona, a Florida, and maybe another multi-state CCW? Well, I got an answer for you. Go to ccwusa.com. That's ccwusa.com. They offer small class sizes and expert instruction to fit your schedule and your wallet. Check their website for details on how to apply for your CCW and more at ccwusa.com. That's www.ccwusa.com. Hey, have you folks been to A.O. Sword Firearms in El Cajon? Put it on your list. They've got the widest selection of guns in San Diego County with over, count them, 600 unique guns in stock, including hundreds of used guns. And don't let that freak you out. They'll walk you through it, make sure you get the right gun. Go see their full-service experienced gunsmith. They can also do anything from mild repairs to full custom firearms. A.O. Sword Firearms Store located at 929 East Main Street in the city of El Cajon. Go to their website at aosword.com or call 619-749-4867. Build, buy, or repair. A.O. Sword Firearms is your go-to place for all things firearms. That's aosword.com. Or you can call them at 619-749-4867. And welcome to the show, David Chong from A.O. Sword Firearms in El Cajon. Hey, bud, how you doing?
Good. Thank you for those kind words.
Appreciate no. Hey, I got a question. It flashed in my little pea brain while I was doing this. So if I came down and let's say I bought, I don't care, a gun, and I got to wait 10 days, right?
You do.
Could I sit down with your gunsmith and say, I want this and this and this and this and this? And could he actually work on that while I'm waiting for the 10-day trial period to go by?
While it's in jail.
While it's in jail?
That's a great question. The official answer is no. If it's a new gun, if it is a used gun, then yes, you could.
Oh.
Technically, on a new gun, any alterations to that would be considered manufacturing before it is owned by you.
Gotcha.
On a used gun that you're just waiting for it while you're on a 10-day cooldown. It's not manufacturing because that's a gun that you've already purchased and have a legal interest in a monetary interest in. Just hasn't been delivered to you yet, and so we could do whatever you wanted to a used gun. Now
that's preventing so much crime. I'm so glad that they have that codified in law.
Oh my goodness,
it's ridiculous.
Yeah,
I don't know how you do it, David.
Yeah, it's hard.
I'm telling you.
What was I going to say? Oh, what we can do though is for people who build custom AR-15s, for example, we can put the complete custom upper together for them, and that'll be there ready and waiting for them when they pick up the gun.
Right. Well, I'm just thinking, if I wait 10 days and I have to go, then I come down and say, okay, now here's what I want to do. Well, now it's another 10 days and I want my baby. You know what I mean?
Sure. So the way it ends up is when people order a custom gun from us, and that's often the case, even when it's brand new pistols, we have a forewarning of the workload. And so what we'll do is we'll make darn sure that we're all geared up and rigged up and have our tooling all ready so that on the 10th day...
you already got an appointment.
Yeah, you got an appointment, and we're ready. So people end up waiting 11, 12, 13 days for their...
Oh, well, that's... if you can wait 10, what's another 3? Because I don't think Lance has ever bought a gun and left it alone.
Well, speaking of waiting, since we've got Thanksgiving coming up and the holidays, the Thanksgiving coming so late in the year. Yeah. Do you have any specials or anything that that people should be aware of down there at Ale Sword?
I appreciate you asking. We are running some Black Friday specials. Of course, still our most popular carry gun, the Smith & Wesson Shield. We have a special on that. Plus, there's a manufacturer's rebate. We are doing bundled specials on our custom AR-15s with some deep discounts and some freebies.
What do you mean by a bundle? Because that makes me sound like I can buy 12 of them.
You can. They still haven't limited the 1 in 30. Michael? When does the 1
January
in 30 firearms including
January 1st?
Go buy 12, Dave.
Go buy 12 tomorrow.
Yeah, with one background check.
Yeah.
That's right. Yep.
Oh no, the government probably wants 12 background checks on the same guy
for you.
Yeah.
Just for you. No, so it'll be just one background check for any number of long guns and one new or dealer inventory pistol.
Yeah.
But you could also put any number of private party transfers, and we do sell many off-roster handguns via private party transfer that are on consignment in the store. So we just said goodbye to a SIG P230, a SIG 938, which is a really compact 9mm. Sold a Colt Anaconda and a Colt Python last week.
What?
We got all kinds of...
I got to start coming to your store more often.
Yes, you do.
We work very hard at making sure that we keep off-roster guns in the state by consigning them rather than buying them, and then we have to... the only way we can dispose of them is, to a roster-exempt person, who could buy it anyway, or we sell it out of state. So we consign them. You run it as a private party transfer, and you can get an off-roster gun.
And speaking of roster real quick, though, is there a favorite roster pistol that you like? The Shield, a lot of people like.
That's probably my favorite on-roster handgun for general use in the carry department. I think it's not ideally suited to a home defense firearm unless it's the only one you have and you also have a carry permit. Mm-hmm. But you'd want something more full-framed and heavier, ideally, and with a larger magazine capacity for home defense, because you don't have to worry about weight. You're not carrying it on your hip unless you're home carrying, which is good for you. But generally, in terms of accuracy and comfort, the heavier the gun in your hand, the more comfortable it is to shoot. And I'll tell you, that is one of the most common misconceptions we run into on our initial greeting when we're trying to fit a handgun to a new shooter.
Yes.
Is, well, I don't need anything too powerful, so I'd like a tiny gun. Well, those small, lightweight guns, they have much more perceived recoil than a full-size, fills your entire hand, heavyweight gun.
Yeah, I have a question. I've been wondering this for a while, actually. So my AR, I have a 20-year-old BCG, bolt carrier group, Armalite from, I don't know, I think I bought it in 99, so I think it's 20 years old. And it's worked flawlessly. I mean, I have to change the a couple of parts here and out. I mean, it wears out, but it's worked flawlessly. And I'd say, maybe 10 years ago, you started seeing a bunch of advancements with BCGs, and they'd have these special coatings, and groups like companies like Lantac started making these highfalutin Osprey. What's your opinion? Is it over engineering? Is it a massive improvement? I mean, an old mil spec, off the shelf, no frills BCG's $100 or less than, sure. And then some of these new ones are twice as much money. You can spend
$350 on a BCG easy.
Yeah, right. So I don't know. It seems like, okay, well, that's the insides. That's the guts of the gun. It seems like you should get high quality, but is it, or are they solving problems that don't exist, or what's your opinion?
Good question. In my opinion, I'm shooting from the hip here, so these are made up numbers, but I say it's 50% bragging rights. 30% dangerous over-engineering that have led to recalls or companies going out of business because they cut something too light. And it's, I won't name names, but one of the big fads for a lightweight hypercut enhanced bolt carrier ended up bolt carrier group, ended up breaking extractors at a you do put 100 rounds downrange, you got to replace the extractor.
And that's already an AR's Achilles heel, is its extractor, right? Is that am I speaking out of school, or?
No, that's one of the fastest wear items. Absolutely, extractor. It would probably be the extractor combined with gas rings. Are the two biggest foul-inducing problems, or problem-inducing fouls. Yeah, but then there's the 10% where they're not a solution looking for a problem. They really have engineered something special into a. For example, there were some cuts. I think American Ordnance and. This is not trumpeted from the rooftops as a $300 bolt carrier group. They just changed their design, and by adding a facet into the front face, the side face, the ejection port face of the bolt carrier group, they left a groove that initially they thought, that'll just let debris into the gun, but actually what it does is it lets debris out of the gun. Huh. So that performed better in the field. There are some of these coatings, nitride in particular.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of the nitride coating. It's not a coating; it's a treatment. It increases the hardness, surface hardness of the bolt carrier, and also makes it more lubricious. So carbon doesn't stack up on it quite as easy, and it's easier to clean your bolt, which is malfunction-inducing problem.
So if I came in and said, "Look, I'm building an AR, or I have an AR, and I want a BCG that is never going to fail. I mean, it's going to be extremely reliable. It's the most reliable out there. Money's not exactly an object, but what are you recommending to people?"
I would send them to our signature enhanced bolt carrier group. So it's got that relief facet I talked about. It's nitride treated, so it's harder. It's our signature series, so it still uses real carpenter steel, not the I can't think of it off the top of my head. My my brain's not in the engineering side of it right now, but the 9130 or 9380, I forget the. There's a very popular replacement steel that's cheaper and not copyrighted that people are using in bulk carrier groups, and it's good. It's just not the best. So that 153 Carpenter steel is going to be what I'd steer you towards.
Right.
And the nitride is easy to wipe down. It's not quite as easy as nickel boron. Nickel boron's beautiful. It's blingy. You can get colors like gold or pink or rainbow.
Nice.
Beautiful and really easy to wipe down just with oil and a cloth. But because it is a coating and not a treatment, it can and eventually will, under some eventual circumstances, it will chip and flake off.
Gotcha.
All right. Hey, David, it's always a joy having you on. I'm telling you. You're a plethora of information, and we do appreciate it. My recommendation,
I love
folks.
talking about this stuff.
I know. Anybody needs to do anything with your firearm, don't fool around with it. Take it to A.O. Sword and get it done right.
Go talk to David.
Yeah, goodness gracious. All right, buddy. Hey, enjoy your Thanksgiving Day. We hope you have a wonderful time with family. And, folks, stop by A.O. Sword because you'll be open Friday, right?
We will be. We'll be ready and waiting for you.
See, I knew that. Right here on FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
All right, folks, welcome back. You're listening to Gun Sports Radio, FM 96.1, AM 1170.
The Answer.
All right. Hey, California assault weapon laws make it almost impossible to own an AR pattern rifle with, what's the solution? Cali Key converts any mil-spec direct impingement AR platform rifle into a straight pull bolt action rifle so it can have all the features without being considered an assault weapon. It's a true drop-in solution. No milling, no aesthetics modification, and no turning off your gas system. Keep your entire AR collection intact at a price you can afford. That's Cali Key. CaliKey.com, KALIKEY.com. All right, self-defense and emergencies can happen to anyone. And unfortunately, the justice system may not be on your side. What are you going to do to protect your family and property? We have a suggestion. U.S. LawShield is here to defend you 24/7, 365 days a year with the comprehensive self-defense coverage of an affordable price. Because, you know, bad guys don't take days off, and neither does their coverage. What's your plan after you defend yourself or family? Consider a plan from U.S. LawShield. Check them out today at uslawshield.com. That's uslawshield.com. And if I'm not mistaken, didn't he say it was $10.95 on this one case?
Something like that, yeah, really low.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, thinking about refi in your home, or maybe you want to take advantage of the low interest rates? Well, we got the guy for you. So if you're buying, selling, or refining, you need to check out Chris Wiley at PRMI Mortgage. For nearly 25 years, Chris has been helping local San Diegans with all their mortgage needs. Give Chris a call at 619-722-1303 or just go to www.primeres.com/Alpine. Tell them you heard it right here on KCBQ AM 1170, Gun Sports Radio, and they'll take really good care of you. Uh-oh. We got the kid in the wings, Sam the Gunman. And we're going to stump him.
I think we're going to stump him.
Oh, we're always says that, but we never do.
Rarely.
Are you there, my friend?
Yep, I'm here.
Are you ready?
I hope so.
All right.
Is he in a sanctuary? Are you in a sanctuary county?
Yeah. Are you okay?
In Virginia?
You should ask. Not yet, but there's going to be a county board of supervisors meeting on the 17th of next month. And if I don't have anything else that comes up, then I'm planning to go and voice my support for the concept.
You really should, man. Write up your deal and go. Make it part of the record. Good for you. Yay.
There it is. Big round of applause.
Thank you, Brennan.
All right. So, Sam the Gunman, we have him on every week for a segment we call Stump My Nephew, and that's because Sam is my nephew.
And how old is Sam?
13, 14 years old now, right? No.
Sure, something like that.
Sam's 20 years old. He is a college student. He works at a gun shop, and he knows more about guns than just about anybody I know.
I was going to say,
don't know how that happened, but somewhere along the way, he was. I guess when usually you're hiding under the sheets looking at comic books, and he was looking at like gun and
ammo,
something like that. Yeah.
By the way, that was for you, Judy. I wanted you to know how old this kid was, because when he starts talking, you're going to be absolutely blown away.
Yeah. All right, Sam, you ready? So if you write in a question and we use your question, we give you a free T-shirt. If you stump him, you get the T-shirt and the hat from San Diego County Gun Owners. Oh, I know, right? So this question is from Joanie, who lives in Valley Center. And she wants to know, what is the difference between bluing and parkerizing? And she wants to know which one's better. Now, the first one's clearly a fact. The second one's an opinion. So let's start with the fact. What is the difference between bluing and parkerizing?
All right, bluing and parkerizing. Thanks for the question. I'm not too great on material finishes and this kind of stuff, but as I understand it, bluing is a chemical treatment you do well, first of all, both are chemical treatments traditionally used to protect steel parts on firearms. And now there are a whole bunch of other surface treatments, but those are the two predominant and most established ones. And as I understand it, bluing is a chemical treatment where you dip the parts in some kind of chemical bath. Sometimes it's heated to a very high temperature. That's hot bluing, and sometimes it doesn't need to be heated. That's called cold bluing. And then parkerizing, I believe, is an electrochemical process where you need to run an electric current through the bath to get the finish to stick. But I'm not too clear on that one, so you'll have to let me know if I got that.
Okay, so that was a much more thorough answer than she sent in and was extremely correct. Exactly right.
Ding.
Congratulations.
See?
So do you have an opinion on which one's better?
Yeah.
Well, they're used for different applications, and unless you're using the firearm in an extreme environment where it has to stand up to the harshest conditions on planet Earth, it's really mostly an aesthetic thing.
Mm. Wow.
Well, it's good to hear you say that, Sam. This is Joe, because I just bought a couple of months ago, I just bought a 1911 from Springfield Armory, and I got the parkerized version. And now that we're about to be locked in winter's icy grip out here, it's good to know that I've got a good solid coating on my handgun or treatment.
And by the way, Sam, icy grip is 60 degrees with a wind chill. Okay,
that's right.
Just so you'll know.
You guys don't know how good you have it with that weather out there. We've been having frost on the grass in the morning since last month.
Oh.
Well, that's nothing. Joe lives in the brutal frozen tundras of Lakeside.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty in Lakeside, let me tell you.
That's right. I think we were in the 40s last night.
And by the way, it was right next to Santee, so you know how bad it could get.
It's brutal out there. You really got to learn how to survive if you're going to make it.
I know.
Get your snowshoes, your snow shovel, be Nanook of the North out there in Lakeside.
That's right. So what are you selling in your shop? What are people buying these days?
Everything. It's a week before Black Friday, and there was a gun show this past weekend, so it was actually pretty empty in there. But after this past election, people have sort of started stocking up on magazines and rifles and stuff. Yep. And the interesting thing about that, to me at least, is that the proposed bill, now this isn't going to matter to you guys, but the 2020 bill that will change the gun laws in Virginia if it passes, SB 16, is the first or one of the first state-level gun laws that I know of that does not include a grandfather clause. So if it passes, it will be the first one that doesn't include a grandfather clause. That means millions of Virginians with perfectly legal AR-15s and whatnot and magazines with more than 10 round capacity and a lot of perfectly benign stuff, well, even more benign stuff like Ruger 1022s and Remington 597s, those are just going to become illegal overnight if this law passes.
That's right. So you'll go to bed a law-abiding gun owner. You'll wake up a felon, and that's what we've been trying to say. Is this stuff spreads from California? You got to stay here and fight. Now, what's the gun you just bought? We were just talking about this yesterday as I was driving back from Riverside's meeting. What did you just buy?
I didn't just buy anything lately. No.
It's a few months ago. What's the rifle that you?
I picked up that Keltec RDB a few months ago. I think back in August or September, somewhere in there.
Which is a bullpup 223, right?
Yeah.
And how do you like it? You were telling me that you were bullseye and womp rats at 6 meters or whatever. How are you shooting it?
It's good. I really enjoy it. Now that I think of it, I think I actually picked it up earlier in the summer, but it runs perfectly fine if I don't mess with the gas system. I've got almost 1,000 rounds through it now, and it runs like a top.
Nice. What do you like about it particularly?
It's short, it's handy, it balances well, it doesn't kick too hard. My mom really likes it. Your sister, she really likes it. Because she has great long-distance vision, and I've got a red dot on top, so she can just punch the bullseye out of a target with no problem.
Which red dot did you get?
Vortex Spark.
Wow. How do you like that?
It's great. Vortex makes awesome glass, and they're headquartered in Wisconsin, so, you know.
Oh, yeah. They're
you betcha.
With the Newskis.
All right there, Hoser.
You betcha.
All right. Hey, Sam, thank you very much. And you and your family have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and make sure you send our love to you guys back there in the tundra.
You too.
All right. Oh, I love listening to that guy. That guy is so sharp. Hey, by the way, folks, before we go out the door, we really want to thank our sponsors, Firearms Legal Protection. You can get them at firearmslegal.com. San Diego County Gun Owners, SDCGO.org. Sign up. It's very inexpensive. TDT Construction at tdbuild.com if you want to do some work on your home from a Second Amendment kind of company. CCW USA at ccwusa.com. U.S. LawShield at uslawshield.com. Cali Key at KALIKEY.com. PRMI Mortgage at primeres.com/alpine.com. Gatsky, Dillon and Balance, LLP. CAFirearmsLaw.com. John Groff, call him at 619-933-4368. The Gun Range San Diego, thegunrangesandiego.com. A.O. Sword Firearms Store at aosword.com. And I can't thank Lance, Michael, Joe, Brennan for all their support. And anytime you want to hear any of the shows you might have missed, go to www.gunsportsradio.com for podcasts and up-to-date information. And always be safe and always be strong and stand up with us, and we will make a difference right here on FM 96.1 AM 1170.
The Answer.
Gun Sports Radio is sponsored by Love Radio Network.